When you're using a sewing machine, you need two threads. One thread to sit on the top spool pin, and one that sits inside the machine under the cover plate down here. This spool of thread has to fit in this little bobbin case on a bobbin. Since spools of thread don't usually come on a bobbin pre-wound for you, they come on a spool like this, we need to wind a bobbin. So we'll start by putting the bobbin on the bobbin winder spindle and pushing that spindle to the right. Pushing it to the right tells the sewing machine that you're ready to wind the bobbin and not sew. Okay, now we need to put our big spool of thread on the spool pin. Looking at this spool of thread, you can see there's a little slit in this spool where the end of the thread is secured so that the spool of thread doesn't come unwound when it's sitting in your box. We're going to undo the thread from that notch, and always make sure your notch goes down when you put it on the spool pin. If your notch is up, then when you thread your machine, the thread will often get caught on that notch and break, which causes you a lot of frustration. Okay, so we're going to take this thread and wrap it around this piece right here called the bobbin winder tension disc. On the top of the bobbin winder tension disc, there's a little arrow that shows you which direction to run the thread. Then we're going to pull this thread over to the bobbin, wrap it around a couple of times. Then we need to do one more thing to tell the sewing machine that we're ready to wind a bobbin and not stitch. On the right hand side you see the hand wheel. The hand wheel has two parts, this outer hand wheel and the inner textured part, that's called the flywheel. So we need to, it's called disengaging the flywheel. To do that, if you hold on to the big hand wheel and then turn the flywheel towards you, that loosens it, and that tells the sewing machine you're ready to wind a bobbin. Now we're going to push the foot pedal and it's going to wind our bobbin. The faster you push your foot pedal, the faster it will wind your bobbin. As you're watching this, you should see the thread go up and down. Because the thread is going up and down, you know that it is winding evenly. If you notice that it's getting all caught up down here and it's just making a big bottom and not winding evenly, you need to stop, unwind it, and rewind your bobbin. Once your bobbin is fully wound, your machine will stop the bobbin winding all on its own. Then you know to let off the foot pedal, push the bobbin back to the left, re-engage the flywheel so that your machine will stitch when you're ready to start sewing, and then you cut your thread. You have a handy little thread cutter right here that you can cut your thread. Now we have a full bobbin ready to use in our sewing machine.